Rudy here, and welcome to Oxygen Not Included. Today we have a very exciting project plan. We're going to build a zoo of some sort, a habitat if you will. Because as you can see, we are running out of petroleum, and that is due to the fact that we are run out of crude oil. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a habitat for our Slicksters, and we will feed them CO2, and then they will excrete oil, they will poop out oil. I don't know what the best term to use is. So we're actually going to dig out a whole massive area down here. We're going to move our crude oil pump down here to the depths, and we're just going to try and corral all of the Slicksters that we can into a chamber for oil production, and of course CO2 disposal. It's a beautiful system, you know, giving them our waste products, and then they give us delicious black stuff, delicious crude. We've come for the crude. So in order to get this job done, we'll be venturing into the depths of the oil biome. We'll need to make sure our exosuits are in proper working order. But unfortunately, we've been having O2 problems in our exosuits due to the way that I've reworked the vent system, you know, this whole project we did. So what I did is I've constructed a special dedicated oxygen production chamber just for the exosuits. Let's up the priority on this so the duplicants actually get to it. So this chamber will just produce oxygen from an algae deoxidizer and pump the O2 directly into the suits, and then that should be enough to supply all the suits. We're going to build a little air filter here, just in case any CO2 gets into the system at all, which might happen if a duplicant exhales while in here. Our new system is done, so now we have the entire output of an air pump going directly to our exosuit, so hopefully that should keep them well supplied, so we don't have like duplicants running back to the base in the middle of a job because they've run out of something stupid like oxygen in their suit. So while the duplicants are sleeping at rest, we will plan out the Slickster habitat build. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig down deeper into the depths. What we want to do is put our liquid pump down here at the very bottom of this pit, so we can just sort of gather up all the oil down there and pump it out. We'll, of course, make the pump out of gold amalgam so it can sustain the high heat that's in here. And, of course, we'll need a ladder and fire pole so the duplicants can get down here to the job site. I guess gold amalgam. Yeah, we don't want to use copper for this. We want to keep our copper for other things. And now we need to actually plan out the habitat, the pen that will contain the Slicksters. We can make this out of mesh tiles, so the Slicksters will produce oil, and the liquid oil will flow right through mesh tiles. That's, you know, the purpose of mesh tiles. We can use animal traps and animal relocators to capture Slicksters and move them around, but since we have a ton of Slicksters right here in the area, we can just build the habitat around them. I mean, in the future, maybe we can move more Slicksters here, but for now, these Slicksters can just get us started. We'll unleash the duplicants on here, and then we will maybe make more expansions once the basics are done. Okay, well, we've run into a bit of a crisis, guys. This is actually quite exciting. We have run out of petroleum, and our power source has been crippled. In fact, our exosuit docks have run out of power. This is like a run for the hills type of moment because we're all going to die. O2 production has ceased. And there's a very simple solution to this. All we're going to do is we're going to construct an auxiliary power supply, and this has been something I've been wanting to do now for a while, actually. Sort of make a duplicant exercise room we're going to build some manual generators. Let's get rid of these ladders here to make room. So let's see, what do we need here? We're going to need a transformer. This is pretty exciting. I mean, apart from the fact that we're all going to die if we don't get out of this situation. So we need a power transformer. Actually, let's not be shy. Let's put it all the way back here. Let me cancel that build. We'll need to dig all of this out. We will need manual generators, aka hamster wheels. I guess we can just start off with one of them. That should be fine. Let's hook it right up to our power supply. Except we're going to hook it up there. And then we'll need a heavy watt wire to get it back into the main power grid. And since the duplicants have nothing else to do, they should maybe get right on that. Or they could go to sleep. But that's fine, we have enough oxygen in our base. Okay, well, thanks to our hatches that we have living in our colony, we've produced some more coal, and now that's powering our coal generators. So, as an emergency measure, what we should do is find some more coal. And we can probably get some more coal right in here, actually. That's nearby. So let's set a dig task here. We just need a little bit of coal to get us through this short crisis period. And then we'll be good. You know, you don't need to be disinfecting crap. You need to be mining coal. Alright, this thing is fully constructed, so someone needs to jump on the hamster wheel to give us a little bit of power. A small thread of power. Alright, we've acquired more coal. Perfect. Ah, yes, the artist can run on the wheel. You have no other applicable skills? Or no, you're not the artist. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. What is your job here? What exactly is it that Chairman Meow does? You are the groundskeeper. Okay. So now that we've secured a emergency supply of power, we can finish our construction project. And the duplicants are already doing quite well on that. So, you can already see the habitat is working. We got our 2 slicksters here, consuming our CO2, and there's the oil dripping down. And eventually we'll expand all this out. We'll rope in those 2 slicksters. I think there's another... Oh yeah, we'll rope him into this as well. Okay. So now that we've secured a power supply, we can reactivate our refinery. Let's put this on priority 9. Let's always make sure we have crude oil refinement underway. We got someone working on our refinery now. Of course, we're still experiencing massive brownouts. But that'll get fixed soon enough. Alright, we have the slicksters slicking. We have our oil refinery operational. We are producing plenty of petroleum for plenty of power. We can do a couple of things to improve the efficiency of our power grid, though. For one thing, we have a lot of extra filters that we can cut out, like this liquid filter here. We used to need this because our crude oil was polluted with polluted water. So we can just deconstruct this filter and hook up the crude oil directly to the refinery, so we'll save 120 watts of power that way. Another thing we can do is, instead of pumping our petroleum into this chamber only to pump it out to our petroleum generator, is we can just pump it directly to the petroleum generator. Okay, they deconstructed that. I see, deconstructed that as well, please. And then we'll get the pipe hooked directly up to the refinery. Perfect. So that'll help with our power situation as well. Also, let's take this liquid pipe here and hook it directly up. Or wait, what am I trying to do here? Yeah, we're going to hook it directly to the petroleum line. And in fact, we'll need to do some deconstruction here to get the hookups quite right. So deconstruct all that, please. This will cut this liquid pump out of the loop, so we'll be saving 240 watts by not pumping liquid from this pump. It'll be good to have a reserve of petroleum, I think, so we still have the pump in here if we need to pump it out somewhere. You know, we don't need it right now, but maybe in the future we'll want to do something with that. So, in the meantime, we'll just pump the petroleum directly to our generator, which is currently not active because we have plenty of reserve power, thanks to our natural gas burner, and of course our coal generators. You know what? In fact, we should also deactivate our coal generators. Like, we only want to save the coal for an emergency. If for some reason this system were to fail, then we'll activate the coal generators. But until then, we should not. So what we'll do is let's build a smart battery. Yes, right there should be fine. We'll, of course, need some automation wire. And what we're going to do is we'll only activate the coal generators if the grid, say, drops below 5% or even reaches 0%. Kind of like how with the petroleum generator, it only operates if the grid gets below 50%, if our stored power on this battery gets below 50%. So if we make this battery set that to 10%, then of course these coal generators will only activate if we're in real emergency power supply need mode. And that'll just be fantastic once we finally get that set up. Alright, let's set this to 5%, and how about 20%? Right, so these generators are only going to activate if this battery gets to 5% or lower power. In the meantime, our petroleum generator should hopefully pick up the slack. Actually, no, let's set this... I don't know what the best numbers to set this are. I guess this isn't really going to work the way I thought, because this smart battery has no power, whereas this smart battery is completely full, so the petroleum generator is never going to go on. So we just need to make sure both smart batteries are fully powered before we can get the system working the way we want. Back to our Slickster habitat, so we've already gone through the new oil we've acquired, but that's okay. It's time to free the rest of everything here. Let's dig up like so. We want to gain more oil. We're going to go all the way up here. And we're going to grab those Slicksters too. We're going to rope them into our amazing Slickster habitat. Come see the Slicksters. Oh boy. Now we've done it. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, well, I think we can extend our mesh tile floor. So one thing that I realized when I first set up my plans was that we can't dig out the bottom of the habitat until we've built the mesh tiles on top, because otherwise the Slicksters might fall through. I think that could happen, and then we'll need to actually build animal traps to try and get them back up into the habitat area. So yeah, we're going to leave that one layer of abyssalite down there first. We'll construct the mesh tiles, and then we will dig out the bottom. Okay, now this is starting to look like a Slickster habitat. Looks like we have 4 Slicksters, all producing oil. I believe they do about, like, on average 250 grams per second. And we've got a large reserve of oil currently. Oh, and we can even get more Slicksters for when we need them. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's get them all in here. So there are other ways we can make our grid more efficient, like this air filter here as well. We can deconstruct it because this chamber is only filled with natural gas now, so we don't need to filter out anything like CO2 or what have you. So let's deconstruct that filter. It's going to make our power situation much more efficient. Gas pipes. We'll just... Okay, we'll go direct. Excellent, and we can deconstruct all this random junk that we don't need anymore. Okay, so not only do we have a more permanent supply of power, but we've also destroyed a bunch of stuff that's been needlessly consuming power. That makes me feel good. The system is working. How's our water supply doing? We still got plenty of water. I guess at this point we can expand our duplicant exercise room, because it's common to have idle duplicants when there's nothing to do. Like, for instance, there's no dig jobs, so Lindsay has nothing to do. She might as well spend her time running on the hamster wheel, giving us more power. You know, we're not over capacity. We can definitely use the more power. That means less petroleum that we need to burn. So we can build a few of these. Let's build 3. And hey, this is also the perfect opportunity to make some more artwork. Picasso has been wanting something to do. Let the duplicants view our great arts while they run on a wheel. And how's our oxygen looking? Let's see, so of course we did have an interruption in oxygen supply production. Oh, and how's the temperature like up here? So the temperature is looking pretty good here. We have, yeah, perfect. Of course, it's not really critical that we cool this system down because it will stabilize at 70 degrees Celsius, but by pre-cooling this system, that just means the oxygen that comes out will be much cooler, and it'll be easier to get it down to an appropriate temperature. Yeah, the base is looking pretty good. We're still getting some warmth from all these transformers. We can do something to thermally isolate those. I'm not particularly worried about that right now, though. Okay, here's something weird that I've noticed with my gas system is, again, since it seems like the output of my electrolyzers are being stymied or hampered by the fact that every time an oxygen packet hits this intersection, it pauses for a second. So it's like the throughput has been reduced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect these exosuits from the main oxygen supply. So let's deconstruct these pipes here. Yeah, see, that's much better. Maybe the throughput is exactly the same. Yeah, see, now we're getting 1,000-gram packets every single, you know, one after the other. There's no gap between any of the oxygen packets because it's not pausing to make that decision. Of course, we still need to supply these exosuits with oxygen. So what we'll do is we'll just hook it up to this dedicated system that we made. And that should be pretty awesome. So that should help with the fact that we're having oxygen issues down here. What I would like to do, actually, is also... let's build another oxygen pipe, and we're going to bring it right down here into the duplicant exercise room. Because, of course, since oxygen rises, you know, the majority of O2 will come down here, and even if it gets overpressurized down here, it'll still flow up to the rest of the base. So that should work out pretty well. And if we're going to have a ton of duplicants down here working, we should be giving them fresh oxygen as, you know, quickly as possible. Okay, well, a few closing comments here. I got both my smart batteries fully powered up, so now the electric grid is working more in the way I expected. You know, the petroleum generator operates first when the grid gets depleted, and the coal generators will only operate if the grid really gets depleted. But I noticed this smart battery seems to get drained of power more quickly than the smart battery down here. So I'm gonna spend some time looking into maybe how I can rearrange the power grid. Our oxygen system is looking much better. Our oxygen distribution is much more even. And of course, the entire point of the episode was to secure a more reliable source of crude oil, which we have done, and we have a nice little Slickster habitat. It may not look impressive, but it is effective, and it'll only get more effective. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up, and I hope to see you next time for more Oxygen Not Included.